Hello. Welcome to another episode of the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time. Hope you guys had an amazing 4th of July weekend. Hope you guys were safe. Hope you and your loved ones had an amazing time creating memories. Make sure you guys took a lot of pictures, honestly. I think taking pictures nowadays is a little kind of underrated. A lot of people do like to live in the moment, post on social media and stuff like that. But, nothing's as good as a, good old fashioned picture. Hope you guys had a good one. Thank you for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. On tap today, we do have our WWE Monday Night Raw preview. After our WWE Smackdown review, then we're going to jump on into WWE Money in the Bank review. Then we're going to talk about WWE NXT Heatwave. And then to kick us all, to end it all off, we're going to end with John Cena. It's retiring finally from WWE. And, I wasn't the greatest John Cena fan because he won so damn much. But just the way he represented the company is just an absolute, that's like an honor. That's like an honor. WWE trusted him. He went out there and he wasn't like, any of those crazy superstars that kind of went AWOL. Obviously you see a lot of, but it's just what John Cena did for the WWE. It's something that even when he wasn't on the screen, he did so much for the company. And we're going to dig on into that for our 5th and final segment. But before we move on, I want to remind you guys to like and subscribe to the show. Superman punch that, follow button to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast. Also the GSMC Sports Network. Go ahead and hit up the tips and donations link. Tell me your questions. Tell me how you feel about, who won, after everything that happened with Money in the Bank, Drew McIntyre. Tell me if you think Tiffany Stratton's, the best fit for the women's Money in the Bank. I welcome all questions. Definitely would love to hear some of your guys' opinions about the subject matter. So just to ensure that your question gets read on air, I ask you guys to use the tips and donations link at the gsmcpodcast.net. Shoot me your questions, comments, and concerns. It really does help the show, guys. Here at the GSMC Sports Network, we do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity. So once again, the link is at the gsmcpodcast.net. So don't be afraid. Don't be too shy. Don't be too shy. All right, let's go ahead and break this down real quick. We had WWE Smackdown. Obviously, you kind of had WWE being exclusively kind of in Canada right now. You had SmackDown, you had Money in the Bank, you also had NXT, and now you have Monday Night Raw. But I don't know. So the show started off, WWE Smackdown started off with all 6 participants come out. Obviously, everybody was making their case about, I'm going to win this, I'm going to win that. Someone who made a pretty compelling case. I feel like the future of WWE is kind of on not Carmelo Hayes, so to speak, because obviously there's a lot of other superstars. But besides the bloodline storyline that they got, then you have Cody Rhodes, and I feel like Randy Orton and Kevin Owens are still kind of flowing along those lines of WWE. I feel like Carmelo Hayes would have been an awesome Money in the Bank winner. I feel like I know he's too young. They gave Lyra Valkyria the final match. She was one of the finals against Nia Jax with the Queen of the Ring. She was on fire and stuff like that. She was in the women's Money in the Bank match, but I feel like the men's division is, especially on SmackDown. I'm thinking about the top 5 superstars on SmackDown. Obviously you have Solo Sikoa, the new, young bloodline leader. Although I feel like he still wasn't ready and was kind of promoted, before, he had a chance to kind of cement his name as like a dominant tribal chief. I don't know if that makes sense, but I just feel like he really didn't have the accolades. He never really had the win, loss ratio. He never really, he had a couple of good wins. He did have a couple of good wins, and now he's winning, seemingly he's won back to back. So I feel like there's Solo Sikoa, and then there's Cody Rhodes. Then you also have Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, and then I feel like after that, and I could be absolutely missing somebody, but right now, like just thinking about it, I'm like, who else does really SmackDown have? Like they drafted Baron Corbin. I feel like Baron Corbin's going to be a pretty huge piece to the WWE SmackDown. Kind of moving forward in terms of their success. You also have Bobby Lashley coming back from injury. Right now, you have the strap Solamente on, Cody Rhodes, and he's a phenomenal champion. He's great. I feel like Carmelo Hayes, if he would have won the Money to Bank, I feel like it would, obviously I get it. I get it, and we'll get more into it talking about WWE Money to Bank and not so much a SmackDown. But this kind of affects SmackDown. Like I get like you want to further the Drew McIntyre and CM Punk rivalry, but I kind of think that was already, or they could have found a different way to you know, have these guys, piss each other off more. I'm not too sure if, Drew McIntyre winning the case, cashing in, then losing. Like, it's just like, if you could have used that opportunity to have the case into like building up something, much more bigger in terms of WWE SmackDown, I feel like WWE SmackDown kind of got snubbed in the Money in the Bank because on Raw, you think about it, and I know it's a 3 hour show, and I know it's heading to Netflix on Raw, you have, the Judgment Day. You have the World Heavyweight Champion, Damian Priest. You have Seth Rollins coming back. You have, Rhea Ripley coming back. You also have the Wyatt Six. And then you have CM Punk and, Drew McIntyre that was already, pretty big before this pay-per-view on Saturday even aired. I don't know. I just feel like it would have been better on SmackDown. But that's just my opinion. So let's dig on deeper into Friday Night SmackDown. Pretty deadly. Fought the Street Profits, the Pride. Obviously, the Street Profits came out on top. Pretty awesome. Loved seeing the Street Profits achieve success. Definitely thought they should have achieved more success. But they're getting right down they're getting down the right path. It was pretty cool. And there was a promo between the A-Town Down Under where basically you saw Austin Theory kind of have that. You had Austin kind of have that, that revelation inside his own mind. He was thinking, he was like, is this guy really out for me? That guy meaning Grayson Waller. Or am I just like, is DIY really right? Are they right? Is Johnny Gargano right? Is he really using it? And I feel like using that, with WWE as well as A Town, Austin Theory. I hate how they call him A Town. I definitely got to rid that name as soon as he becomes babyface. But this was a good push. This was a good push for babyface. Grayson Waller did bring up a lot of pointers. He obviously was buttering up Austin Theory because he's going to be the heel as soon as they lost. We'll get into that momentarily. It was a good promo. It was a good promo because it kind of sets up. I feel like WWE, it set up this because a lot of, even I thought I was like, all right, this is kind of DIY's last chance to kind of win the championships. This is their last mark. They had a chance on Monday Night Raw, didn't really beat the Awesome Truth, which was kind of a huge red flag for me because I felt like they could have definitely held the Raw tag teams of the world, well, not Raw, the world tag team titles and represented that brand, functionally as the tag team. But then you kind of had this, you know, this third party kind of, outside perspective where Triple H was probably thinking like, look, like we can find a way for the fans to love Austin Theory. Austin Theory he's a very, very talented superstar. He's been with the company for quite some time. Every single time he wrestles a match, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. SmackDown, you need younger superstars. You have Cody. Cody's great. The WWE champion, yeah, obviously. You have an aging Randy Orton. You have a Kevin Owens who used to be the Universal Champion, but after everything that's kind of happened within his career, I feel like it's when you kind of think of Kevin Owens holding a major title on SmackDown or Raw for that matter, it just doesn't really seem surreal. And I'm not trying to downsize Kevin Owens because I feel like he's he's an amazing superstar, and I feel like WWE kind of ultimately did this to him, losing to Goldberg and stuff like that. Like I feel like right now you kind of have to have that, establishment. You kind of have to give Austin Theory that credibility, and I felt like this promo did, pretty well. Kind of showing the fans that there is perhaps a way that A Town Down Under could very much retain the titles tonight. I thought it was pretty good. It was a good prep talk by Grayson Waller. So we saw Jade and Bianca Belair. Obviously, we had Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. Jade wants the tag team titles back. Jade wants the tag team titles back. You saw them backstage, and this is the second time. This is the second time where you saw the two girls together, and Jade Cargill was like, "Oh man, we got to get our titles back. We got to get our titles back." And Bianca Belair is kind of just there. She's like, "Yeah, but I kind of want it." Bianca Belair belongs as a single superstar, and so does Jade Cargill. The way that Jade is perceived in this relationship between Bianca as that person that, look, I like being part of the singles, wrestling and stuff like that. But I'm gonna take the title whenever I can. I'm gonna take the W's if I'm achieving success, as the WWE World Women's Tag Team title holder, then I'm gonna take it. And I feel like Bianca Belair is kind of there, like she kind of downsizes she doesn't look at the the World Women's Tag Team titles like the WWE Women's Championship that Bayley's holding right now as, some kind of this, as equal. But Bianca is, I would love to see Bianca go heel. Bianca at this point, I feel like she kind of needs to go heel. Like, I know you kind of have the Street Profits that are, they're right there on the cusp. I feel like they're the next tag team to kind of be, kind of furthermore pushed by the WWE. But then you also have, Bianca Belair, you have their reality TV show. And I don't want to say holding a reality TV show kind of, negates WWE to perform the action of creating a heel because you obviously want people to tune into that show. They're like, oh, Bianca. Like, I'm not saying that people can't really decipher the fact between reality and, show business in terms of WWE. But what happened in WrestleMania between, the main event with Cody Rhodes and, Roman Reigns, it was a great way that WWE blurred the lines. Like Triple H said it himself. He blurred the lines between reality and basically, what could happen with WWE. And it was a great promo. This is something that I feel like they've done pretty well with the two girls. Having, Bianca, turn heel. Preferably, I feel like it'd be great at SummerSlam. I don't know how long it's gonna take for them to, but I see at WrestleMania these two women fighting each other. It would be awesome. Right now, WWE, it's kind of in the works with the WWE Women's United States Championship and also a WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship. Have this match kind of be that, kind of that stepping stone, that, that steeple, kind of like that award that these two girls are going to fight for. And I don't know. I just feel like that would be a great way to introduce a new title, having the two top dogs go at it. Um, that'd be great. That'd be great as well. So then you also saw, Piper Niven versus Bayley. Nia Jax makes a statement by attacking Bayley. Nia Jax still lingering and waiting for WWE SummerSlam for her title shot. And then lastly, well, not lastly, but second to last, we have the WWE Tag Team titles. A-Town Down Under lost against DIY. Congratulations to DIY. Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa finally make it up to the Gestapo. And, I just got to say, thank God. Thank God. Because if these guys would have lost all credibility. Would have lost all credibility, would have lost everything, would have had to go back down to NXT, which would have been terrible. Be like, oh, let's have Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano be the ones to defeat Axiom and Nathan Frazier. Glad that did not happen. Glad that they gave the titles to DIY. It's about time. It's about time. They've kind of, WWE, they kind of played with DIY for a little bit. Obviously, the choice was to break them up. And then once when they were broken up, after a hellacious battle between the two, then you have both of them trying to establish themselves as singles wrestlers. And that's just something you can't touch, much like Vince McMahon kind of did once when he decided to break up the Dudley Boys. Wasn't really good. It was a terrible decision. Sometimes tag teams need to be tag teams. Singles push, yeah, it's cool. The WWE Championship, yeah, that's what you want to win. But at the same time, like if these guys are complacent, not even complacent. It's not even, if you are the WWE Tag Team title holders or the World Tag Team titles, that's a huge achievement. That's a huge achievement. To them, that is the WWE Championship. So Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, sorry, congratulations. Congratulations. Hope you guys have a long reign. If this reign ends in a month or two, I think I would be kind of pissed. I'd be kind of pissed. Lastly, we have Solo Sikoa hitting a promo, basically says that Roman wasn't man enough to defend his championship against Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 40. I'm the tribal chief now. He can try and take it from me. It's right. This promo was big. This promo was really, really big. Obviously, we are kind of running out of time at the segment. Actually, we are out of time, but a couple of closing thoughts. Solo Sikoa against Roman Reigns. I think as of right now, the only thing Solo really kind of has to his name is like backup with Jacob, also the Tongans and stuff like that. But Roman has the better accolades. Roman, after leaving the Shield, he did achieve a lot more than Solo Sikoa. It would be kind of like, a heavyweight in a battle against like a no-name kind of guy. I'm not trying to throw shade at Solo Sikoa. I'm pretty sure before Roman Reigns comes back, WWE's like, look, from this match on, fighting Roman Reigns, you kind of have to have Solo Sikoa just go on an absolute tear right now. I don't think Solo Sikoa is probably going to lose another match before he fights Roman Reigns at SummerSlam, doubtful. Or, or at, Survivor Series, War Games, or perhaps even, WrestleMania. But, it was a good promo. Definitely liked it. It's a little surreal at this moment just because, like I said, I don't feel like Solo Sikoa really isn't up to that stature kind of yet of Roman Reigns, because I feel like he kind of needs to be there for WWE to sell this as something that's absolutely big. The new tribal chief going against the old tribal chief. The old tribal chief, he cut ties with everybody he knew. He screwed over Jimmy. He screwed over Jey. And his right-hand man, Solo Sikoa, went out, proved that he's better, grabbed a whole bunch of guys, grabbed his family. Now Roman is all alone. Roman is all alone. There's no doubt in my mind, maybe they fight head-to-head at a pay-per-view where Roman loses and he thinks to himself, damn, I need my family back. He gets Jey, gets Jimmy, need a fourth, pick up Sami Zayn, or perhaps, another family member. But I feel like the fans would get a lot more excited if it was Sami. So, but moving on. Now we're going to move on to WWE Monday Night Raw preview. So, hey, do not go anywhere.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast with your main man, E, your favorite wrestling fan. And I'm a huge wrestling fan. I'm a giant dork. I love, to hear chats and opinions of other wrestling fans. So don't be too shy. Obviously, hit up the tips and donations link. But, you can also send a free chat as well, man. It's not like, I just want to talk wrestling. I just want to talk wrestling on this beautiful Monday night. Actually, Monday nights are Monday nights. Monday nights are better. Monday nights are awesome because we have Monday Night Raw. But then you're getting back into the sleigh, especially with the 4th of July weekend that happened. Spending time with the family, hanging out. I guess, I had a friend, went out, got his boat, had some beers and stuff like that, barbecued in Lake Havasu. And I was like, dude, that's what life's all about. Quality of life, spending time with your loved ones, hanging out whenever you have the time. Don't let going to work, working a Monday through Friday 9 to 5 job bring you down. Just remember that it's all about love. It's all about love. All right, just kind of reiterate what we talked about. We had our WWE Smackdown review. Now we're going to jump on into our Monday Night Raw preview. But before we move on, I want to remind you guys to use the chat. Hit up the tips and donations link at the GSMCpodcast.net. If you want to leave a tip, obviously, you can still send chats and stuff like that. Send me, text me how you feel about Money in the Bank. Tell me how you feel about, SmackDown, what happened on SmackDown with Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns. Obviously, I'm going to talk about Monday Night Raw right now. I have it recorded. Can't wait to watch it. It's happening right now. I know it already aired on the East Coast. If obviously, if there's a burning desire to send a spoiler alert in the chat, if it's something cool that we could talk about, by all means, 110%, go ahead and chat it. Once again, the link is at the GSMCpodcast.net. It really does help the show. Superman, punch that like and subscribe button. Follow the show. Follow the GSMC Sports Network so we can, have more days like this talking some good old-fashioned wrestling. So, yeah. All right, WWE Monday Night Raw. Let's do it. So, this is post Money in the Bank 2024. It was a good one. I feel like the first Money in the Bank from the Paul Levesque era, I feel like it did live up to the hype. It was good. Once again, I feel like SmackDown was snubbed, but we'll get into that a little later. But we are live at the Canadian Tire City in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. Tonight, you're probably going to see Damian Priest address the mishap between him and Seth Rollins. You saw the match, plain and simple. Damian Priest didn't come out. He didn't kick out. Triple H after the show backed him up when talking to the media, and he was like, still, I feel like, doesn't matter what happened, Damian Priest is still our WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and I trust him. But this was big. This was pretty big. It was pretty ugly. It was pretty ugly. But we'll dig into that, once we get into the Monday night, not Monday night, once we get into the Money in the Bank review there. So we're going to see Damian Priest, who's still the top dog of Monday Night Raw, holding that championship. There's going to be a huge promo tonight. I feel it. Like I said, I have not checked a single shred of social media. No Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever people use nowadays. I haven't seen anything. So I feel like right now, if I was like the head of WWE creativity, I was like, dude, we need to have this match happen again, probably in the future between Seth Rollins and Damian Priest. The gentleman's agreement wasn't really met, so the Damian Priest can't really lead the Judgment Day. But now Seth Rollins, I don't know if he technically can't challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship. I feel like that would be, I don't know. I feel like that would be kind of bad for Seth in this juncture in his life or in his career. But in terms of establishing a new challenger for Damian Priest heading towards SummerSlam, you kind of have to start building up that Gunther versus Damian Priest kind of promo. You're going to have Gunther probably come out when Seth Rollins and Damian Priest are talking. He's going to come out and be like, you lost. You lost, Seth. Get in the back of the line, dude. You can't challenge for this title anymore. This title is for Gunther, the ring general. I love Gunther. I feel like Gunther would be a pretty awesome champion. Having a reign like he did with the Intercontinental Championship would be, in my opinion, I feel like, obviously this is in my opinion, 1,010%. I feel like it would kind of diminish Raw. I feel like at this point, Monday Night Raw needs to just start building up toward having quality champions. It's like one of those things where it's like, but then it's like the opposite of quality versus quantity. Sometimes you want an awesome champion, like you saw Roman Reigns, who held the titles for so damn long. Now, ever since the WWE draft, you've seen Raw and SmackDown, Adam Pearce, Nick Aldis, kind of commit to this brand split. And for this brand split to work, I feel like to keep wrestling fans fully engaged, you kind of have to have some sort of a, kind of like a title match here and there. I would say between the time junctures of 4 to 6 months, like what you see what's happening with Damian Priest kind of moving on. I feel like it would be best if Gunther, I don't think he will prevail against Damian Priest. If anything, I think it's probably going to be more beneficial for WWE to have this the Judgment Day kind of fallout here because at this point, I'm a wrestling fan. Like I said, I am a huge wrestling fan. But I feel like this Judgment Day thing is, you just don't believe it anymore. You don't believe it anymore. You know that it's going to happen, the breakup. It's to the point where I've been thinking about this for the past month and a half. And I was like, what's it going to take? What's it going to take for Damian Priest to finally be put over as a babyface? WWE's been teasing it for about 2 months now. Still, when you see Damian Priest go out, the WWE Universe, the crowd still boo him. They absolutely 110% boo him because he has to face people like a huge babyface in Seth Rollins. So having Seth Rollins, not ready, not being able to contend for the title, I feel like overall kind of benefits Damian Priest with his jump to the, to the heel, to not heel, to the babyface kind of role. Finn Balor, I want to see Finn fight Damian Priest for the championship. That's something that I feel like WWE fans have been waiting for the longest time. When will it happen? Obviously not at SummerSlam because Gunther and Damian Priest are going to fight head to head. But I don't know. I feel like if Damian Priest loses his championship to anybody but Finn Balor at this point, I don't know. I just feel like you can't really, as WWE creative, really bank or kind of just build anything off of that. Like if Gunther becomes champion, then Damian Priest, no title. Maybe they have a Judgment Day breakup after that when he's not the champion anymore. But just the champion just adds so much lettuce, just so much meat to the obligation of Finn Balor turning his back on his best friend, turning his back on his fellow Judgment Day member just for a shot at the goal. And right now you do have JD, you have Finn Balor holding the World Tag Team Championships, obviously beating the Awesome Truth thanks to Liv Morgan. But this is something that WWE, needs to start building. They're going to start building Gunther versus Damian Priest. Absolutely, as of tonight, I feel like it'd be better for both of the superstars for it to happen tonight. But I don't know. I feel like Finn Balor, I've always kind of advocated for Finn Balor being a single superstar, way better as a single superstar as opposed to kind of like a tag team competitor. The Intercontinental Championship, I like it, but on a scale of 1 to 10, it's probably like at a 6.5. But him as a heavyweight championship contending, the WWE needs another reign by kind of like the underdog. Like Cody Rhodes was the underdog, yes, but as soon as he assumed the role of WWE champion on Friday Night Smackdown, he's no longer the underdog. There's no underdog champion right now. They want to establish that. WWE wants to establish that with Damian Priest, but they can't. They can't because the fans don't buy it. We do not buy it yet. Damian Priest has not won a single match cleanly. He still comes out. People boo him. This is something that WWE needs to kind of have in the works because if not, maybe perhaps, Gunther, starts absorbing all the support from the WWE universe. Could happen, but, moving on from this, will Drew McIntyre honor his suspension indefinitely? We all know what's going to happen. We all know Drew McIntyre is probably going to show up, probably be pissed off as hell. We're going to get some words from CM Punk tonight. After Drew McIntyre's failed cash-in, which I kind of talked to you guys that I didn't really like it. Next, we're going to see Rey Mysterio teaming up with his fellow LWO companion, Zelina Vega, the first ever WWE Women's Queen of the Ring. And, going against Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio. Liv Morgan isn't defending championships on any pay-per-view. She's not, I'm not saying that I'm completely done with this storyline because I feel like it could get better. But so far, the way it kind of started, it started off as hot. But right now, it's kind of come to the point where, you're kind of getting to that lukewarm category where WWE fans see it and they're like, okay, yeah, that's cool and all and everything. But, we've kind of seen this thing go over and over again where somehow, some way, Liv Morgan winds up accidentally on top of Dominic Mysterio. You've seen that before. We've seen that twice now. So something needs to be done. I feel like tonight, heading towards SummerSlam, should, kind of head toward the right direction. Hopefully. Next, we have Jey Uso taking on Chad Gable. Chad Gable has been stalked by the Wyatt Six. last week you saw people obviously, talking about the Money in the Bank. Jey Uso was also in the ring when the Wyatt Six had the potential of coming out. I do not want the Wyatt Six to feud with Chad Gable. I don't see. I think that would. I don't know. I don't see that happening. I think it'd be terrible. Jey Uso not winning the Money in the Bank, I feel like means something. Means something to the point that like maybe perhaps the Wyatt family they do want to take down Jey Uso. Maybe they want to take those Fireflies back. I know he said he stole the Fireflies, but the best way for the Wyatt Six to kind of make a statement is to make statements against kind of successful, high running, popular WWE superstars. And by all means, Chad Gable is pretty popular. He's very popular. But against Jey Uso, Wyatt Six, their debut, absolute destruction, chaos, demolition against the huge babyface and yeet. That's a no-brainer. That's something that WWE should probably, I feel like that's what they need to do. That's what they need to do. Lastly, we have Braun Strowman teaming up with the Awesome Truth against the Judgment Day. And then we have Katana Chance, Jaden Carter, also Lyra Valkyrie against Damage Control. Should be pretty awesome. I hope Damage Control gets back on track here tonight. But only time will tell. I think it'd be kind of, not beneficial for them to break up. But all right, guys, next we're going to talk about WWE Money in the Bank. So do not go anywhere. Grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite, your favorite beverage, and hey, join me back in like 15 to like 20 seconds.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time on the GSMC Sports Network, talking everything wrestling. Just to kind of reiterate what we talked about in this show. We talked about WWE Smackdown review. We also talked about our WWE Monday Night Raw preview. So let's go ahead and dig on into our third segment, WWE Money in the Bank. All right. Well, before I jump into that, I want to remind you guys always to be part of the show. The show's a hell of a lot better with a lot of audience engagement. Leave a chat, leave a comment, concern. Like I said, hit up the GSMC Sports Network, gsmcsports.net, for the tips and donations if you guys want to leave a tip. If not, if you just want to talk some good old-fashioned wrestling, absolutely 1,000 to 10% free. So, go ahead and, send some chats. Tell me your opinions. And, let's talk about something that we all share passion for is professional wrestling. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about some Money in the Bank. Money in the Bank. All right, we're going to talk about match one. We're going to talk about our the men's Money in the Bank. The LA Knight against Drew McIntyre, Carmelo Hayes, Chad Gable, Jey Uso, Andrade. I felt like a lot of these superstars kind of would have, they would have all benefited from the match from the get-go. The moment Drew McIntyre kind of qualified, I kind of knew that I was like, all right, Drew's going to find a way to cash in and something's going to happen with Punk in the future. I didn't think it was going to happen the same damn night. That was shocking, but I feel like that shock factor was ultimately sacrificed a chance for one of these young superstars to kind of go over within WWE. And let me explain that. Carmelo Hayes, super young. There's only like 4 top dogs on SmackDown. This would have been huge. Would have been absolutely huge for Carmelo Hayes. Still too young, I get it. Drafted by WWE Raw from NXT. Maybe, we got to give him a little bit more work. I get it. He did botch a promo against the LA Knight, with the LA Knight backstage about that was like a month ago, I think it was, 3 weeks ago. The LA Knight could have very much propelled his career with a win, but he's also, having this feud with Logan Paul that's been just pushed over and over, on and on and on. Even Logan Paul hates the fact that he has not defended his United States Championship. When will WWE wake up and, kind of utilize the YouTube star a little bit more? Kind of utilize his enthusiasm, his charismatic nature, the way he's clickbait. He's clickbait. Any video you post, you're like, oh, let's just, tag Logan Paul. Hashtag Logan Paul. Bam, you get clicks. That's just how it is in entertainment. That just happens. He should fight against the LA Knight. I feel like, they're kind of buttering it up for him to, return to his hometown in Cleveland. It is going to be SummerSlam. You heard it even on himself talking about it in the Impulsive podcast that he hosts, that he's part of WWE now. A lot of fans, I don't know if he so much spoke about people in the locker room, but a lot of fans out there, like WWE fans, kind of doubted Logan Paul's existence within the professional wrestling industry until much recently. He was trained by AJ Styles. He did have a little match with AJ Styles. It was to the point where he was kind of being pushed as a babyface, lost against Roman Reigns. And I think it was, don't quote me on this. I think it was Clash. No, it wasn't Clash. No, damn it. Crown Jewel? I think it was Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. Didn't really work out for him. But I don't know. Logan, I get why the LA Knight didn't win. Chad Gable, I get why he didn't win. Jey Uso was a pretty big favorite. He was a pretty big favorite, but he's going to cash in against Drew McIntyre. Against Damian Priest. Would have been all alone against Judgment Day. I would understand why they did not have him cash it in. Andrade, ever since being brought back to WWE, I think I read a post. I think it was Ringside News on Twitter. Said that the same reason why Andrade left WWE for the first time is the same reason why it's kind of happening to him right now, and what happened to him in AEW is he's kind of just left there. He's like, dude, yeah, you're gonna win some matches on SmackDown, but you're not gonna, quite make it up to the Gestapo yet. You're not ready yet. I feel like he could. I feel pretty damn confident that he was ready. I feel like he's, I can't even remember the last time you had, someone from like the LWO or someone from like a Latin American, kind of area win the championship in WWE. Obviously, you had Rey Mysterio. Obviously, you had Eddie Guerrero. But I feel like maybe this could have been a way, because he's been pretty dominant. Andrade, he's been pretty dominant on his brand. My best bet, my two picks before Drew McIntyre, of course, qualified, was Carmelo Hayes and Andrade. Obviously, you saw once when Drew McIntyre, qualified, I was like, all right, now they're trying to do this poetic justice where he gets his title back, winning the Money in the Bank, but that didn't even happen. They kind of blew it on just them trying to push this CM Punk and Drew McIntyre rivalry so damn much. WWE could have did that without Drew winning the briefcase, but hey, that's just me. All right, next we have Sami Zayn against Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker and Sami Zayn tore down the house. Love it. Obviously, Sami Zayn was in his home country in Canada. Braun Breaker, I kind of knew that he was going to lose. I was, kind of betting on it. I did not want him to win a match win the title so quick in his career, not because I'm a Braun Breaker hater. It's just because I've seen how Braun Breaker has been portrayed within the WWE Monday Night Raw kind of universe. He attacks people backstage. He performs in squash matches still. Nobody wants to see that. And by all means, this faults WWE creativity within Braun Breaker. I feel like he could have got a better creative story. I ultimately feel like obviously he has potential. That's something that's not in question. Obviously, he's athletic. Obviously, he could get the crowd into it. As a babyface, no. As a heel, perhaps. Right now, he is sort of jumping toward that heel role. It's going to be interesting to find out how he addresses the whole Adam Pearce situation on Monday Night Raw. Sami Zayn, he was going to win. I knew from the get-go he was going to win. This was one of those matches where I was like, this is something that I feel probably the most confident about. is Sami Zayn in his home country retains the WWE Intercontinental Championship. So then we get John Cena. John Cena comes out in the promo, sad and upset that this is the last time now. Whoo, that's pretty big. Gonna save this one for our fifth and final segment, so make sure you tune into that to get more, to get more analysis and stuff like that. And then the World Heavyweight Championship, Seth freaking Rollins, the challenger, takes on Damian Priest, the title holder. And this match, it was good. It was very, very good. But then this had to happen. This had to happen. Then Drew came out, and then CM Punk came out, and it was just like I'm a cook. I'm a cook at a senior living facility. Sometimes when you're making a stew, sometimes when you're making a soup, you're like, oh, some basil, bam. Let's add a little bit of cream, bam. Onion, celery, carrots, mirepoix, but then sometimes you'll add something that doesn't fit. Maybe you're like, you know what, let's spice it up, put a little cayenne pepper in there. Yeah, it spices it up, but at the same time, you're like, you taste it, you're like, I feel like they tried too hard trying to make this soup something awesome. And, or maybe a little bit too much salt, maybe a little bit too much, chicken bouillon. I don't want to, seem like a dork, but, the perfect wrestling match, the perfect wrestling promo, at least in my field of work, it's kind of like a nice recipe. Kind of a beautiful recipe that once when it's all said and done, you taste it, you enjoy it with a nice glass of wine, taste it, you eat it, and you're like, man, that hits the spot. That's so satisfying. I want to see that happen again and again. But I feel like WWE did try really hard, during this, kind of, like I said, they were, the match was great before the mishaps happened, before, Punk, Drew McIntyre came out. Kind of, I don't know. Like I said before, I don't like it that Drew McIntyre won the WWE Money in the Bank. I thought it was poetic justice that he won it, and I thought he would cash in eventually, not on the same night. Then CM Punk got involved. And if for that to end out, just like what happened on Money in the Bank with the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, you should have just gave the briefcase to Carmelo Hayes, Jey Uso, or Andrade. That would have made for way better TV, way better, kind of statistics for WWE. But, instead you kind of saw it go down how it went down. Next, we had Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton wins the Money in the Bank women's ladder match. It was a hellacious match. Obviously, you saw Chelsea Green fall about 15 feet. She looked like she damn near died. But happy Tiffany Stratton. This is the perfect way to kind of help propel her career. When she qualified for the match, because my money was on Chelsea Green. I was like, this year's Money in the Bank women's title holder, briefcase holder. I feel like, but then that's just me. I feel like it's kind of cliche for every Money in the Bank winner, either if it's the women's or the men's, to kind of just be that heel, kind of be that, that kind of, that jerk that was like, oh, I'm going to cash in, if you have someone like John Cena, when RVD won it, when you had Cody Rhodes, not Cody Rhodes, but when you had somebody that like Cody Rhodes win it, they're like, oh, I don't want to cash it in on anybody. I want to, I want to use it to have a match and stuff like that. But I don't know. I just feel like the WWE Money in the Bank briefcase, favors heels a little bit more than baby faces and stuff like that. All right, sixth and finally, not going to spend too much time on this match because I kind of knew what was going to happen. They need to make Solo Sikoa look strong. They're going to make him look strong, not to diminish Cody Rhodes, not to kind of further the bloodline here a little bit. But WWE needs to build up this momentum for Solo Sikoa for when Roman Reigns returns. The match is going to sell more tickets. That's just plain and simple. That's something that this match was. I knew the bloodline was going to win, not really much of a surprise. What's going to happen to Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens moving forward on WWE Smackdown? Only time will tell. You still need a number one contender for the United States Championship and for the WWE Championship. And this is when I feel like this is going to be a way that we get this Cody versus Randy Orton. I think it's part 2. I think they fought, once before Cody left the WWE. But I don't know, I think it's going to be pretty big. I feel like, it'd be a pretty nice match. The main event, the Viper, Randy Orton against Cody Rhodes. Obviously, there will be probably some bloodline interruptions and stuff like that. Interference. I was looking for that word interference, but yeah. All right, guys. So do not go anywhere. We're going to jump on into WWE NXT Heatwave. So stick with me. We're almost through here. You guys can enjoy your Monday night, catch some Z's. And, I hope you guys are watching Monday Night Raw right now. I can't wait to watch it. It's going to be dope. So, hey, do not go anywhere.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
All right, and we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez here, your favorite wrestling fan in the whole entire world. Thank you for tuning into this show. Just kind of reiterate what we talked about. We had our WWE Smackdown review. We also had our WWE Monday Night Raw preview. We talked about Money in the Bank, and now we're going to jump on into WWE NXT Heatwave that aired live on Sunday night in I think it was Ontario, Canada. Don't quote me on this. Yeah, let's go ahead and jump on into it. So NXT Heatwave, absolutely. I thought it was electric. I thought it was really cool. I thought it was about time. But just kind of before we get into the match, is something that I kind of wanted to get off my chest a little bit. Hoping to get your guys' feedback. Obviously, send me a chat. Just giving me your feelings about what I'm about to say. I've noticed on WWE NXT that they don't say WWE anymore. They don't say WWE anymore. According to recent like interviews and stuff like that with Paul Levesque and also Shawn Michaels, people of WWE, meaning creative and stuff like that, staff and all that, WWE NXT is heading toward kind of becoming its own entity, kind of becoming its own show. Not really dabbling with Raw and SmackDown. Obviously, when the draft happens, they could, they're going to draft, NXT superstars, which is going to be absolutely crazy, absolutely like up in the air, like, oh my God, they're drafting, they're drafting Trick Williams and stuff like that. And this is something that kind of builds the excitement of WWE NXT. Obviously, you kind of had that Joe Hendry thing happen at the end. A lot of people, even myself, I was like, what? Like, that's crazy. You had a lot of collaborative ideas with TNA so far, which I was upset that on I think it was on NXT about 2 weeks ago or a week ago, they were talking about they had a chance to mention how Charlie Dempsey went to TNA, they didn't do it. They had a chance to talk about Izzy Dame going to TNA, they didn't do it. And I was like, oh, that kind of sucks. Like, I kind of hate that. For collaboration to kind of work between wrestling promotions, there just needs to be this even keel of communicative barriers. And now with NWA looking to jump on into the mix, the NXT is going to the CW. Right now, you have the NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance, wrestle on the CW app. So this could very much be heading kind of toward just kind of like an open barrier. Kind of, opening that forbidden door for, wrestlers all over the world to jump on into WWE NXT. But something that I kind of thought about, I was kind of pondering to myself, and maybe perhaps this could be absolutely like out of, this could be asinine, this could be crazy. But I felt like when WWE bought WCW, it would have been more beneficial for WWE to kind of keep this deal discreet. Obviously, Vince McMahon ego kind of carried it all. I felt like having WCW be owned by WWE discreetly, you could have had a separate brand kind of mimicking, kind of holding these, kind of these wars, so to speak, kind of having superstars where you could develop them to come to WWE, perhaps. But obviously that, like I said, it didn't really happen. But I felt like, WCW could have damn near would have been like an NXT, like a separate entity, trying out new talents. Creating collaboration between ECW, TNA, the NWA, the MLW, Stardom, New Japan Professional Wrestling, AEW, Ring of Honor. You could have done all that at an earlier time. But obviously, their times have changed. It's kind of crazy, kind of a crazy idea. Let me know in the chat section if you think I'm if I'm off my meds today, if I'm off my walker. All right, so we're gonna jump on into match one. We have Ariana Grace teaming up with Carmen Petrovic to take on JC Jane and Jasmine Nix. Every single time WWE kind of goes to another home country that loves the WWE, Canada and WWE are very simpatico. So, kind of crazy, kind of cool. But you saw Ariana Grace and Carmen pick up the win. Pretty badass. I didn't expect anything less than that, but all four girls were very impressive, especially Ariana Grace, and I think they're going to fight on Tuesday, and I think that's going to be the number one contendership for Kaylani Jordan's WWE NXT Women's North American Championship. So definitely think that's kind of in the future there. All right, so let's talk about the WWE Women's North American Championship. Kaylani Jordan successfully defends her title against Sol Ruca. Sol Ruca is a very formidable competitor. Thought she was going to win the ladder match at first before she kind of got hurt. Both of these girls are very talented. Obviously, Kaylani Jordan, a gymnast. Sol Ruca, as athletic as they can be. A bunch of, reversals. A bunch of, crazy, acrobatic moves. And it was fun. It was fun to watch. I definitely love both of these women. Definitely think both of these girls are representing the brand really, really well. Kaylani Jordan, is a huge baby face right now. Would have been crazy. There was a time where after the match, we saw Kaylani Jordan go up to the top rope, put her title up in the air, and then Sol Ruca was kind of behind her. And I was like, oh my God, watch Sol Ruca go heel right now. Watch her go heel right now. She takes her down, throws her down on the mat. That would have been pretty ballsy. For Sol Ruca to kind of hold that, that heel role, I feel like maybe it would have been kind of like a forced heel role. That was like, okay, what do we do with this person now? What do we do with this person now? Let's see, there's always a heel turn. So maybe it could have been perhaps a little forced. Obviously thinking out loud here, but it just would have been interesting. Oba Femi successfully defends his North American Championship against Wesley. Kind of love that this happened. I got to be honest. I do not have hate for Wesley, but he came back, and you can't just win the championship off of this complete badass in Obafemi, this Nigerian prince, this Nigerian soldier, this Nigerian badass. You just can't have him win it right off the bat. Come on, Wes. What are you doing, dude? So now Wesley lost. He cannot challenge Obafemi for the North American Championship as long as he holds it. I think it's kind of perfect. Right now. I feel like Wesley I doubt he goes after Ethan Page. In all realisticness, maybe perhaps he tag teams with somebody maybe like Javon Evans to go after Axiom and Frazier's NXT World Tag Team titles. That's where I would take it. Totally two great superstars. You kind of need them to take this place in NXT. They're like, look, Javon Evans, up and coming rising star. Wesley, a very honorable. Obviously, he's the best to ever hold the North American Championship. Let's have them tag together to dethrone Nathan Frazier and Axioms. That could have been in Nathan Frazier and Axiom once again. Prove me wrong. Once again, these guys are clinically and notably better as a tag team. It's I'm sick of fading these guys. This is like that NFL team that you're like, all right, they're gonna take a crap. They're gonna lose. They're gonna drop the big goose egg. They're not gonna be each other. They're not gonna be there for each other. They're gonna turn heel. They're gonna go against each other, especially after all the turmoil in the back. And Chase U needs more of a better role within WWE NXT. I feel like this was ultimately like a setback for Chase U. Definitely saving like a Rich Holland. Going kind of rogue within the university, which is Thea Hill wasn't happy when they lost. Thea Hill was going crazy. It was kind of funny. But credit Nathan Frazier and Axiom. I watched their match and I was like, damn, I understand why NXT is holding keeping the titles on these guys. So kudos to them. Next we have Lola Vice against the NXT Women's Champion Roxanne Perez. Roxanne Perez she's unstoppable right now. I'm not really sure anybody on the NXT roster could really take her down. Not even in, TNA Knockouts champion Jordan Gray. Obviously, you had Tatum Paxley and Ash by Elegance have interference, kind of there by that. But right now on the NXT roster, I don't really see any women right now being able to contend with Roxanne. And, she's a hell of a champion. She's a hell of a champion. I don't see her losing anytime soon. I honestly do not. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. Roxanne Perez. It took like 4 Pop Rocks, I think it was. 4 Pop Rocks to defeat the former MMA, superstar Lola Vice, fighting for her family. It was a little, it was a little somber, a little sad. I was watching, I was like, okay, Lola Vice, yes, she has shown potential. And according to WWE News, I read an article on Ringside News that Shawn Michaels is preparing for her to make her main roster debut. But when it's going to happen, not too sure. What is it? Keon? No, it's not Keon. Kiana James? Kiana James? She's been on the roster on WWE Monday Night Raw. Hasn't really been shown too much. Lyra Valkyria, not really. Blair Davenport on SmackDown, not really. So if you have Lola going to WWE Smackdown, that would be pretty cool. Because right now, Monday Night Raw is in love with this Liv Morgan kind of storyline. And lastly, we have the WWE NXT World Heavyweight Championship, which was an absolute banger, a great match. But like I mentioned on my last podcast, I was like, if Trick Williams is going to lose this championship, it's going to happen tonight. Basically like, I was never pinned. Like, what the hell? It happened. Ethan Page is now your face of WWE NXT. All ego, Ethan Page is now the man of WWE NXT. Ethan Page, all ego, is now the new WWE NXT World Heavyweight Champion. I'm going to throw a round of applause. I like this. Ever since Ethan Page debuted on SmackDown, on NXT, I was like, dude, this guy's going to be a star. This guy's going to be a star. People love Trick Williams. People love Trick Williams. But him as a favorite, kind of like a Bayley, kind of like a Cody Rhodes, as a chaser, you're kind of more popular and kind of more marketable as the actual champion. Trick Williams did, he defeated Ilya Dragunov. He defeated Ilya Dragunov. He defeated a lot of good competitors. But, oh man, that was big. NXT was full of surprises. Well, obviously, there was no other title changes besides, what happened on this match. And it was well worth the wait. It was well worth the wait. After, everybody started retaining their championship, I was like, okay. I was like, oh, great. So now Trick Williams is going to win. Dude, that's cool. But I feel like, kind of moving forward, Ethan Page, you're going to get a rematch with Trick Williams. But, having Ethan Page recently win and just losing it right off the bat, especially with his reputation being, coming from AEW, I don't think that's formidable. What you would do right now from WWE is perhaps have Trick Williams kind of blame Javon Evans a little bit. Like, dude, you lost me my WWE NXT North American Championship. My WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Kind of like a what the hell, dude, causing kind of driving a wedge a little bit between them. But yeah, it was amazing. It was crazy. So like I said before, Ethan Page is your WWE NXT North American Champion. Guys, do not go anywhere. We're going to end with a little segment I like to call John Cena retiring. A lot of tears, a lot of you deserve it, or a lot of, thank you, Cena chants going on within the arena in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So, let's dig on into that. So, hey, do not go anywhere. right, and we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time on the GSMC Sports Network. Here to talk about all things wrestling, just kind of reflect on what we talked about real quick. We had our WWE Smackdown review, our WWE Monday Night Raw preview. We talked about our WWE Money in the Bank review. It was pretty awesome. We also talked about our WWE NXT Heatwave analysis and results. So let's jump on into John Cena retiring. It was a sad day in WWE. You had John Cena come out, super sad, super crazy. I didn't think that he was going to call it quits so fast, but obviously loved the champ. He's amazing. He did really, really well by WWE. So let's dig on into him retiring. So he comes out on Money in the Bank. I'm not really the huge person on like, oh, wherever John Cena goes, he steals the show. He does steal the show, for notably so. He's achieved everything within WWE. Outside the WWE, he's been nothing but, sublime, nothing but amazing. And I feel like out of all the wrestlers in the whole entire world, and I'm probably going to get a lot of scrutiny from this, but if John Cena is not on your Mount Rushmore of the greatest WWE superstars of all time, what are you doing, dude? What are you even doing? John Cena was amazing. He was dominant. He was a nice guy. There's times where he was young. Yes, there was a point where he was like, I don't really want to, kind of promote younger talent that you're going to kind of replace me with. Kind of like what you saw with the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love. You don't necessarily want to, kind of teach the person that's going to take your job. But it got to the point where WWE, for the longest time, relied on John Cena. John Cena was there. John Cena was the only one to kind of, not the only one. There was still a lot of, he had beefs with Triple H. He had beefs with Shawn Michaels, DX. He had beefs with Randy Orton, Edge. I'm not so sure so much The Undertaker, Batista, but John Cena did one thing great, and that was being John Cena. John Cena is someone to be celebrated. Something very rare within the wrestling culture. Without John Cena, you can't really tell the story of WWE. You can't. Try. You can't. You're gonna get to Bruno Sammartino. You're gonna get to WWE. You're gonna get to Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage, Razor Ramon, Lex Luger, Sergeant Slaughter, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Kurt Angle, The Undertaker, Kane, and then you're gonna, you do have Batista. They kind of, jumped into it at the same. You kind of had Batista, and you kind of had Brock Lesnar there, but you couldn't really have anything established without John Cena. John Cena is someone that would, I don't want to like bring anything personally into this, but he would jump into, in front of a bullet for you guys. Appreciate John Cena. The last time is now. I'm just kidding. Moving on. So after 23 years, John Cena is retiring. He made a surprise appearance at Saturday's Money in the Bank in Toronto, where he's a 16-time world champion. He's retiring from WWE after WrestleMania 25. And, I was kind of pondering on this. I was like, 16-time world champion, just needs one more championship to become the greatest, champion in the world, obviously with not the hugest reigns and stuff like that. Obviously, during his tenure as a, WWE champion, he did have some pretty good reigns. He didn't, obviously not up to the level of like, Bruno Sammartino or Roman Reigns or anything like that. But I think at that time, at that junction in professional wrestling, I think it was kind of, it's kind of normal. It's kind of, natural for him not to have so much of a long title run because, you're kind of, ultimately trying to prevail, trying to push other superstars. But, it's kind of crazy. And something that I kept in mind also as well, like, does WWE, in your opinion, I'm asking the audience right now, go ahead and shoot me in the chat, talking to you guys one-on-one. Do you guys kind of feel like WWE owes John Cena a 17 world title reign? Do you think they kind of owe it to him? Do you think they're kind of in debt to giving John Cena, the greatest title in in wrestling history is becoming the 17-time world heavyweight champion. I I had my doubts. I did have my doubts, but to be honest, I think they do. I think 1,010% they do. John Cena has kept WWE on the map of entertainment for decades. For decades. Like I said, you can't really think of, when you think of John Cena, you think of WWE. And did John Cena do some crazy stuff outside of where he was arrested for a DUI, where he was, caught up with like a scandal or allegations inside of a courtroom or anything like that? No, he did not. So a lot of people are like, okay, like you can relate to John Cena. You can have your young wrestling fans watch John Cena. Obviously, you got, they had the FU, but then they changed it into the attitude adjustment. John Cena, the way he connects with kids, the way kids love John Cena. John Cena was the bridge for WWE to kind of intrigue younger audiences in terms of wrestling, in terms of professional wrestling. There was a time in WWE where they kind of thought to themselves, they're like, look, we're going to push the women's division more. We're going to push the women's division more. We're not going to have these stupid, silly, like, the bra and panties matches and paddles on the pole and swimsuit competitions and stuff like that. We're going to ultimately, finally, somebody in WWE was like, look, like, we can use these girls for, to entertain the crowd without kind of diminishing their rights or anything like that. You can kind of have these girls go at it inside of the ring. This is something that I watched a documentary on with Trish Stratus, Lita, also Victoria, Molly Holly, and stuff like that. Fit Finley. Fit Finley was, very big on women's wrestling. Very big. He was like, look, he told WWE, although, WWE, obviously, not trying to slander, but WWE was kind of, they kind of told Fit Finley, who was training the women, that was like, look, yeah, you see all these high flying moves, you see them jump from rope to rope, you see them performing suplexes and submissions. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. We want these, obviously they kind of had this idea for the women, but, they eventually made it up to the way they are right now. Thank freaking God. That really helped WWE. Definitely establishing new audiences. But a huge reason why WWE is so big today, and I know he's been on and off since 2018, but you don't have new wrestling fans unless John Cena is here. The champ is here. Kids love John Cena. John Cena, in terms of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, he's granted more wishes than anybody. Like, man, I think they like over 600 wishes granted by John Cena. That's huge. That's absolutely that's a bombshell right there. That's insane. Great man, great heart, even a better wrestler. John Cena is somebody in this world that you can never compare any other wrestler to. There will never ever be a John Cena. I'm sorry. Not in the world of entertainment, not in the world of, being a human, not in the world, especially professional wrestling. Heck no. It's crazy. John Cena is definitely one of the best WWE superstars. Like I said, everybody's kind of had that, that's, kind of like that rite of passions of like, oh, I hate John Cena. Why does he win all the time? Yada, yada, yada. But as you see wrestling grow, as you see wrestling be so successful as it is right now, especially within that targeted demographic from 18 to 42 years old, John Cena is a huge part of that. 18 to 42 years old. John Cena, part-timer since 2018, started in 2004. You think about that. So for all that time, John Cena was bringing positive reinforcement, positive public relations, positive surroundings aroma around WWE. If you want to watch WWE fans, you saw him and you would see him on the Nickelodeon Kids Choice Awards. He was for it. He was there. John Cena is one of the best wrestlers. One of the best. He's amazing. He's simply amazing. I don't know. For future fans and generations, it's crazy. I feel like one more title run is owed to him by WWE. You have Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas, and you also have Elimination Chamber. He did not mention Survivor Series, but I don't know. I would like to see them kind of reach out for John Cena for him to be on a team. That'd be pretty dope. Winning the Royal Rumble, I thought about that. Is anybody more formidable to win the Royal Rumble right now besides John Cena? Especially, like, let's just take it as if we have the champions that we have now, Damian Priest and Cody Rhodes. Solo Sikoa is too busy right now with Roman Reigns. For Roman Reigns to win the Royal Rumble would be kind of stupid, kind of silly. I feel like it'd be dumb. I feel like John Cena winning the Royal Rumble is pretty much there. Maybe a foregone conclusion already. Or if he does not win, and this is something that has been on the minds of WWE fans ever since you saw the pipe bomb from CM Punk. Who was in that ring? John Cena. CM Punk was talking crap to John Cena, how he's the favorite, with Paul. And then Dwayne comes around. Oh, you got to love Dwayne and the way they always give him chances. Would it be not like a rite of passage for CM Punk to throw John Cena over the top rope at Royal Rumble, finally getting that title shot, finally getting that push that was, given to John Cena, CM Punk's whole entire career before the early, 2014s, 2013? Wouldn't that be like kind of interesting to say? Kind of be like, CM Punk gets to go to the main event at WrestleMania. But to do that, he ultimately defeated his greatest foe. I feel like CM Punk and John Cena are like huge, like head-to-head, huge villains toward each other. Definitely, in terms of professional wrestling, it would just be. I feel like that'd be great. That'd be pretty great. It would leave John Cena obviously out. Well, no, I'm not out of WrestleMania. Now, perhaps he finds his way. He did mention Elimination Chamber. Elimination Chamber is the other pay-per-view that, if you don't make it, if you don't win the Royal Rumble, you still have a chance to challenge the other competitor at Elimination Chamber, getting that that right to move on to WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas, where you'd be like, oh, I bet on myself. I threw the dice. My last chance. He retires the champion. And that's something, obviously I feel like after all he's done for WWE, positive public relations, the whole Make-A-Wish thing is pretty awesome. Great guy, great wrestler, an amazing person. A lot of positive things surrounding WWE. New generation of fans are here because of John Cena. I don't know. I think it's something WWE should really consider, especially with right now. You really don't see anybody besides like John Cena being formidable to win the Royal Rumble. He'd be a 3-time winner. He would break a record for that. He would also be the 17-time world champion. It'd be crazy. It'd be kind of crazy. Imagine like an icon versus icon. Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. John Cena loses, looks at Cody Rhodes, and he's like, your time is now. I'm gone. John Cena leaves WWE. No longer the champ is here. The new champ is here. The new future of WWE is bestowed on the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Pretty crazy stuff. Could absolutely 1,010% happen. Is going to happen? Maybe. I feel like it would be, pretty badass for that to happen. Obviously, hit me up in the chat section of how you guys feel and stuff like that. But, it is the end of our show. We have our soccer podcast with my boy Emran happening at 9:30. So do not go anywhere on the GSMC Sports Network. Thank you so much for tuning into the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast. Brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network, presented by the GSMC, your support means a lot to us, so please remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show, leave a follow the show, follow the network, the GSMC Sports Network. It really does make a difference, guys, here at the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity all the way 110%, absolutely. Make sure you follow us on Twitter/X, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. If I haven't made you a wrestling fan by now, remember we have football heating up with Manny from the Shot Football Podcast. We also have Kenneth on football. We also have my boy Sam on baseball. We have the All-Star game, coming up with Home Run Derby. Probably one of the best nights in the MLB. I love the Home Run Derby. Although the new rules, in my opinion, I feel like has kind of, it's kind of messed it up. But, obviously, they kind of had to turn down, after 10 pitches and, people taking balls, a batter up there for like almost like 30 minutes plus. Like, obviously, it had to change. I knew it was going to change eventually, but I kind of miss it. We also have, Samantha with the Hoops and Heels podcast, your one-stop shop for women's sports, the Andrew Tate Show. We also have Tommy with college sports, college football. It's going to be awesome. College football is around the corner, so do not miss your chance on catching up one of the most favorite sports, across the country. We also have my boy Nelson on football, Jeremy and TJ talking all things sports on their podcast, and also, you have my boy Chris, fantasy. Oh, fantasy. Fantasy football is coming up. It's going to be amazing. Who should I pick in the first round? I'm thinking Jamar Chase. But that's just me. Thinking Jamar Chase. Last year, I got burned by him. I think he's going to have a breakout year. Joe Burrow's coming back from an injury. I think 1,010% he's coming back for blood. I think it's going to be awesome. So this NFL season coming up is going to be awesome. So, guys, once again, thank you guys so much for tuning into the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast. Hope you guys have an amazing night. Hope you guys had an amazing weekend. Stay beautiful. Stay awesome. Yours truly, always, your boy, Eric Rodriguez from the GSMC Sports Network.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet. Damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work.